Welcome to the last episode of Political Funding in Africa. This is Africa on Trial. Welcome wherever you are in Africa, the beautiful continent that we're in. 55 countries that we're trying to bring them together. The unification of Africa, that's the key to our development. The only direction that we can take and the only way that we can succeed in Africa is for us to move into one direction. Africa on Trial is the program and Political Funding is the episode that we're looking into, and this is the last chapter of Political Funding, episode 3. So as we're looking into the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about the need for us as Africans to understand the reason why we have to know where politicians, where the political parties, where do they get their funding from. We're talking about the money, we're talking about the finances that helps them. This is the time for us to write our own history as Africans. This is the time for us to change and look into a different direction, take and pursue our own path as Africans. That's the only way we can do better. Africa, for us to move together, I'm asking you to join hands wherever you are. We have to cut ethnicities, the tribes, the things that always hold us from coming together as Africans, more especially the borders, things that were imposed on Africa with the colonial masters, with their own agendas, the agendas that were not meant to benefit us as Africans, only to divide and to conquer us. We need to understand that this is the right time for us to stop and think again and revise our history. Brothers and sisters of this beautiful continent, mother of all continents, I am asking you on behalf of Africa on Trial, let's think twice and come together. Stop hating your own brother. Stop hating your own sister. Stop judging the community that you're in. That's where you need to show your love. That's where you need to start growing. That's the community that you were put there for a reason. We need to come together as Africans. Africa on Trial, Political Funding, it's the topic, and we're saying this is the final chapter of Political Funding in Africa. Stay tuned as I'll be back to talk to you. Welcome back. The last part that we want to talk about, Africans, we have as well as a problem. This is direct to us as the citizens of the continent of Africa. Voters, we have a problem whereby we are not participating in politics fully. We want politics to be a seasonal thing. Then we have always to receive something from them. We're creating thieves, we're creating corrupted leaders, we're creating leaders that cannot be trusted. They've already seen that the system that they're trying to help, it's already corrupted. Let's listen to what they say. Let's hear the ideas, decide from whatever ideas they've given us and vote for them. That should be the only point where the politicians and the citizens can meet. We have to decide on whom to vote based on what they have told us. We need to decide on which party to follow based on what their principles are. We need to come to a point of understanding that the only way to develop this continent, it's not by handouts, it's not by receiving the little things that these politicians brings into our communities. Whenever they have to come to our area, the politicians, they have to first think of what they have to carry with them so that we can sit down and listen to their ideas. That's why most of the politicians, they have no ideas. They just go out there, borrow a lot of money, come to our communities, because they already know that what we're looking for, it's not the ideas, it's not the development, it's the handouts. The handouts are just for 1 day or 2 days and they're gone. Those politicians who sit there on that seat for 4 or 5 years, what are they gonna do? They already know that we are corrupted because we ask them to give us something so that we can vote for them. We have to listen to the ideas of the politicians. The politicians have to sell us the ideas and we need to be the ones to make decisions. Remember, we are employing them. They come to our community. That's the interview for them. Okay, you want me to give you a job? Yes, no problem. Tell me what you can do when I give you this position. Then they come to us knowing that they're looking for a job. They sell us their ideas. We are the ones who have to employ them. In the process of employing them, we're asking the one who is supposed to be our servant, the one who is supposed to be our worker, to give us something by the end of the day. We're just showing that we're not ready to be in the democratic society that we are today. We just want to receive things instead of us managing them, checking on them each and every time, keeping them in line, making sure that whatever they're doing, it's exactly what they promise us, because we are the masters, we are the bosses, the ones who go out there and vote. But now we've twisted it, we've taken it in the wrong way. Now they are on top of the game. They are the ones now taking control of everything that was supposed to be the other way around. So what I'm trying to say to us as Africans is, we need to remember our position. We are the ones who are creating the jobs for these politicians. They come to our communities with ideas. We make a decision of giving them the job that they have to perform, that they have to execute. So in the process, we are the ones to make a decision, not us to wait for them to bring mains, to bring t-shirts. It's so embarrassing, and it's a bad mentality. It's something that we Africans, we have to change. We have to realize that a t-shirt for a party with colors and all those things is not gonna take us anywhere. We need people that can sell us good, brilliant ideas that can help Africa to develop, people who care about us. That's why we're saying these politicians, because they really wanted the position, now they know the only thing that they can come to us and we can accept is the money. Then they go and borrow money from the wrong people, and these wrong people, they already know the system is corrupted. It started with us. We rotten to the core, because as citizens we're supposed to control the situation by buying good ideas, giving the positions to the people that are right and the people that we know we can trust them with our countries and our continent. But because we are greedy, we want things to come our way so easily, politicians, they bring money, they bring whatever we want to, because they know it's just for a short period of time, 3, 4, 5 months of the campaign period, of the campaign trails. They give us whatever they want, they write it in their books, whatever they've spent. That's what a business person will do. The first thing, they will try to recover everything that they've spent, and including that, they have to make sure that there is a profit on top of that, and on top of that, they have to pay back the person that they borrowed the money from. And most of the time, it's a lot of money that it might make them to go over again to do the same things to us. We as Africans, we need to stop as citizens asking politicians for handouts. We need to stop as citizens of Africa, those who are ready to vote. If you don't feel like voting, stay home. Let those who have to make the decisions of voting the right person in power vote for the right person, not because they've given you something. Let's choose the leaders by buying their ideas. Let's vote the politicians in power by accepting the good ideas. We should not take things for granted. 5 years, it's not worthy a t-shirt. 5 years is not worthy political party color that you can say, I can wear this. You can, it's something that by 3-5 months you're done with it, and maybe sometimes you use it as a mop or something else. I'm saying let's choose leaders that will stand with us for the 5 years that they will be in power. For the term of their office, they will always remember us, because we did not sell ourselves. These leaders, they don't remember where they're coming from, because we've already shown them that we don't care. What we care about is the money. So they already know that they've paid for our vote. What else do we expect them to do? They have, now the office is theirs. They take everything and keep it to themselves. They are rooting these offices because we've created the situation. We're saying politicians, they come from our families. Let's treat them as our sons and daughters. Let's give them the opportunity to come into the offices, because we trust them, because we know they have an agenda that will serve our countries best, that will serve our continent to the best of their abilities, not because they've paid us for the vote that we have to cast, then they have to get then they have to assume the offices, then later on they don't remember where they're coming from, because they feel like they've paid it all. This is the things that we're saying that Africans, we need to realize. If our vote counts, then should not be sold for any price. Our vote should be considered as a token for our development. Our vote should be considered as a token for the infrastructures that we need in Africa. That will help us to unite as Africans, the love that we have for our continent. Until we stop receiving these handouts, the ones that we eat today and tomorrow we have nothing, t-shirts that we wear, the caps that they give us, let them just give you for free. We should not demand those things. Political funding starts with us. What are we funding the politicians? What are we giving the politicians? So this whole thing starts with us as the citizens. Next time when there is an opportunity for us to go back and vote, let's listen to what our politicians, what are they trying to say? What are the ideas? Let's compare. That's why it's always wise and good to go and listen to all the political parties. You don't have just to sit with your own political party. Maybe they're coming from the same village with you. Maybe they are in the same community as you. Maybe you coming from the same church or the mosque. If we choose our leaders because the ideas are good, then the politicians will remember what we did was right and they will do the same. If we vote our leaders based on what they gave us, they will remember and they will treat this as a business partnership where they have to benefit as well. It doesn't matter how small the portion is. It's because that's what we saw was worthy the time that we were taking it. Before we point a finger to our politicians, we need to consider ourselves as the corrupted as well. That's why politicians, they're taking advantage of the situation. They know they can deal with the whole community for a one-day visit and 5 years they will be alone. Politicians, they don't have first of all to go and look for someone to sponsor them before they come to sell us their ideas. We need to give the confidence to our politicians that they can trust us, they can come to us even without a lot of money. They can work with the communities, because some of the people that we neglect, some of the people that we don't vote into power, they're the ones who can help us. But just because they don't have the money that we're looking for, they're not in a position to give us the things that we want them to give us during the campaign trails, then we vote for the wrong people. And end result, we are the ones by the end of the day complaining each and every year that our politicians are doing nothing. We forget that we are the ones who started this whole mess. We are the ones who started receiving the handouts. In the process, they saw already that we're cheap. We are sold out ourselves. We are busy selling our continent. We are busy selling this continent to the people that are behind our politicians. They know exactly that what we need, it's the food for the day, not the development for the year. So they are willing to buy us the food that we want for the day. We know change is hard. We know accepting realities on the ground, it's not an easy thing. But I know as Africans, we've come a long way. It's time for us to start changing our way of thinking, our way of seeing things. Political funding, it's not just the politicians that we're talking about. Political funding, we're not just talking about the political parties. We're talking about political funding, the influences of all this process. It's us. If we cannot demand more from our politicians will come to us with whatever they have without borrowing anything from someone else. Then they will be able to sell us their ideas. Then we'll be able to put them in the position of power. Then they will be able to save us only, not saving someone who is behind them first because they gave them the money. And before time finishes, then they have to come to us, of which most of the time it doesn't happen. That 5 years we're talking about, it's 5 years in counting. In development, it's a short period of time. We need to prioritize. We need to put ourselves first. If you don't understand the whole process of voting, try to find out people in your area and ask them how does the voting, the electoral system works, so that before you go and cast your vote for wrong reasons, you need to know why you're doing that. Before you sell the whole 5 years ahead of you, you need to know why. Africa on Trial is the program, and Gamma Coffee is my name. Political funding in Africa. We need to have a direction as a continent. As of now, the countries in Africa, they're heading into different directions according to whosoever fund their political parties in those countries. This was the last episode, like we said, of political funding in Africa. And we know there will be a lot of things that we have to talk about. We'll be coming back and revisit this subject, because these things we have to say them over and over and over again. Africa, it's time for us to change. It's time for us to head into a different direction. Until then, I'll remain yours, Gamma Coffee. Africa on Trial is the program, and the next topic that we'll be looking into is, are we black or are we Africans? It's a question for our next program. Are we black or are we Africans? Thank you for watching wherever you are. Thank you for being with us on YouTube. Thank you for following us on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Stay blessed. See you next week. Love you all.